And it's a good afternoon to all you folks sitting out there along the highway, either stuck in your vehicle or waiting for a ride or maybe parked downtown shopping or whatever. And we'll talk a little bit about winter conditions here for a few minutes. And it's kind of a mind blower when you see what's happening out on the highway system. They're putting this liquid chemical down out on the snow surface and no sand. So the whole road area is just mushy and slippery. It's slimy. So there's very little traction, and vehicles are sliding off the road and sliding into the ditch, and there's no sand being applied. So what's happening? They're trying to use the liquid deicer to melt the ice, melt the snow, and the snow becomes very, very slippery. And if the road surface has not had any sand put on it, there's no traction at all. So the vehicle slides off the road. They're driving along the highway, and the vehicle it'll slide to the lowest point. So if the road tilts to the right, the vehicle will slide to the right. If it tilts to the left, it'll slide to the left. And if it's on a corner, the centrifugal force of the weight of the vehicle going into the corner will actually trip down to the gravity part. If it's tilted to the right, the vehicle will slide to the right. If it's tilted to the left, it'll slide to the left. And if you don't have any traction restorer on there, the contract calls definitely for traction restorer, which is sand. Now the contractors are taking a look at the cost of the sand and the preparation of sand, saying, well, it's too damn expensive. We got to grind this stuff up, we got to crush it, and we have to crush it to a smaller size, and we got to mix it with salt and all kinds of things. So they're going with the liquid deicer, and it puts a hell of a bad situation out there for drivers, and it's actually worse than having nothing at all and having just plain sand on the road. Because if you have snow and sand on there, at least you've got some grit. But when you have just a straight snow on there, and you mix the liquid chemical with the snow, it becomes slippery, really slippery. And you can actually cut through the surface of the snow down to the road surface. Now, if there's nothing on the road surface, you have clean blacktop, and it's slippery, really slippery. And then you get the freezing effect going on, so you get the snow that's not melted compressed down onto the road surface, and then the frost takes effect as soon as you hit -6, and all of a sudden you got a frozen surface right on top of the road surface. So the road surface might have had a little roughness on it to begin with, but now it's got nothing because it's got glare ice. So we have a lot of people out there being paid a lot of money, and there's a lot of money being wasted. And we're also finding insurance costs going up. People are getting injured. Some are getting killed, no doubt. We had some killed last winter, and it just seems like nobody wants to smarten up. Instead of talking about the science, we've seen a whole bunch of this stuff with this COVID. Nobody follows the science anymore. If the road is flat, you might get along by having a little bit of snow on there, but you got to drive slow. But if the road's sloped, the vehicle is going to slide to the lowest part of the road, to the left or to the right, and on the corner, it'll slide off the corner. And I defy anybody, if they're on glare ice, to control the vehicle. So if you've got chains on, if you've got studded ice chains, you're probably okay. If you've got a loaded truck that's got ice chains on, you'd probably maintain it, but you'd probably slide right off the road. If you stop the vehicle to get out and check it, while you're standing there checking your vehicle, the tires are warm and they'll actually melt, and the whole truck will slide off the road. And you've got to be careful to knock you down the ditch and slide on top of you. I've seen that happen on the Alaska Highway. When the tires are warm, they generate some heat, and they can be onto a frozen surface. They sit there for a bit at a time, and all of a sudden the tires warm the surface up. And now you've got glare ice, and it slides off the road. So we got some really high-paid help down there in Victoria, and we got the contract all written up, and we got guys out here in the field that are saving money like a big deal. Oh, it's cheaper. We'll just use this liquid deicer, and then all of a sudden the vehicles are off the road, and everybody's wondering what the hell's going on. Well, got to go back to the old way like we used to do it for years and years. I spent 35 years with highways, and we always had sand. You have to have sand as a traction restorer. Because when you've got clean pavement and snow comes on top of that, as soon as a tire presses it down, you got a little bit of patch of ice right there, and it'll slide. So Merle Sproul, our highways engineer, used to call all the foremen and say, "Hey guys, there's a radio forecast out here of snow coming tonight. Get out there and sand those corners and sand the hills and the school bus routes and get ready, because we don't want to have all these vehicles off in the ditch." But right now, nobody gives a damn. We don't have anybody who cares. We have a system where the cheapest method works good. It makes you put the most money in the bank. So let's do it the cheapest way we can. And who gives a damn about ICBC costs? And who gives a damn about people getting killed or injured? Let's just do it cheap. But when you do the cheap seats, you sure as hell don't get the good seats because they have slivers in them. So we've lost a whole bunch of time there. When the 1988, when they privatized, Dennis Hall was here. He had about 3 contract areas, and he kept exactly the same plowing and sanding standards as what the ministry did. Application of sand. He just told the foreman, do it exactly the same as you always done it, and that's what the foreman did. But now a lot of those older foremen are gone, and we got low bidders in here, and we're doing some really dandy stuff. And I'll see you. It's kind of scary out on the road. I don't go out there unless I really have to. I've got a 4-wheel drive, but you have to still be careful because you can still slide off the road. If the road's slippery and it's icy and there's no sand, you're going to slip off. And the best driver in the world, if it's glare ice, I defy you, because if the road surface is tilted, your vehicle is going to slide to the lowest point of the road, because the left or to the right or to the front or to the back, whichever it is. If it's a hill, you're going to be stuck at the bottom. You won't be getting up. And God help if you start down a long slippery hill going down and you're a loaded truck, you're going to lose control because the wheels are going to be sliding. You're going to be stoneboating. So we're having to relearn that stuff all over again. And I hope to heck that nobody gets killed or injured, because the experimentation stage is really out there in full bore. And we wish you all the safest trips in the world, and we pray that you don't get injured or killed. So have yourself a great time and be very careful. Watch out for the black ice and all the slippery surface that's being created by the stupidity of using this chemical instead of sand. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.